Okay.
So we
If
write
you
up
just
the
did,
offer with.
right, go ahead. Go ahead. Listening.
Oh, and that all depends on, their time frame, when they want to move, and they want to move as soon as possible. Repair limits. If they think the home needs extra work, they may want to build in some money for repair limits in the contract. So we get all of that negotiated, and sometimes I find out from the listing agent what is important to this seller. Does the seller want to move as soon as possible, or do they need 60 days or 90 days because they want to find a home? So we try to make it favorable to both parties. So we would like everyone to be happy. I can't always make everyone happy, but we try to make everyone happy.
That's great. That's great. This is Sekou Radio. If you just joining us today, our MARCIA Frost, she's expert in real estate, and we are discussing buying a home or a house in Florida. Marcia, what if we move to the fifth part of your question, negotiation?
So negotiation, a lot of times it's not the price. A lot of we want to negotiate the best price for the buyer or the seller if I'm on the selling side, but sometimes it's about time frame or repairs, but you want to have a good negotiator on your side. And that's where your realtor can save you thousands and thousands of dollars by the negotiation process, even in new construction, which we'll touch on later. But I also do negotiations for new construction as well as resale homes.
So the importance of an agent such as you is very important when a buyer is negotiating, right? You advise them and you help them.
Absolutely. I find out what's important to them. How bad do you want this house? Sometimes what we're experiencing now are multiple offers on a property, and the listing agent will call and say, well, we want your highest and best offer by tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So that's when it really happens.
Multiple offer, what's a multiple?
A multiple offer is when a home has more than one offer come in at the same time, almost at the same time. 2 weeks ago, I listed a home in Lakewood Ranch, and I had 3 offers come in within 3 hours. The first day it was listed, I had 3 offers come in.
Right. And how you handle that?
I asked the seller. I presented, because I immediately call the seller and present the offers. That's our responsibility as a realtor, to promptly present the offers and ask the seller what they want to do. I said, do you want to respond to all these individuals? What would you like to do? And the seller said, can we wait a day and see and just give them all a deadline? Just say, we're going to review the offers at 5 o'clock on Friday. So that's exactly what I did. So that's what I meant by highest and best, that the seller will be reviewing all offers Friday, 5 o'clock. So that's the deadline to get in the highest and best offer. So there ended up being 6 offers, and they were all over.
Yeah. So among those 6, you take the best of them, the best offer?
They did. They took the best one, the best terms. Sometimes it's not the price. Sometimes it might be $2,000 less, but they want to close 30 days earlier. So that it's worth it, to have the 30 days earlier.
Okay.
So or one might be cash and one might be financing. Another thing with offers is the deposit. If you put a larger deposit, like a $20,000 earnest money deposit, it shows a serious buyer versus a buyer who only puts $1,000 down and wants to, finance 95%. I mean, those loans are fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But sometimes a seller feels more secure with a buyer who puts more money down.
Okay. How about the review process? What's the review
process? Okay. So when the contract is agreed upon by both parties, then it's time to focus on the standard contingencies. So these are the inspection, the appraisal, and mortgage commitment. So in inspection, I absolutely recommend a home inspection by a licensed home inspector to every buyer. Typically, the inspection period is about 10 days. Sometimes it's shorter, sometimes longer.
Right.
So the home inspection is conducted within the 10 days. Then if there are repairs to be done, that can be negotiated.
Right.
It mean everything's negotiable when buying a home.
Then
Everything.
there's a process called walkthrough.
The walkthrough comes at the end.
Yes.
That comes at the very end, right before the closing. So the walkthrough is when we see that the repairs are completed. So we do a walkthrough of the property to give a final look at the home and confirm repairs were agreed upon during the inspection.
Yes.
Make sure that the appliances are still there, that the house hasn't burned down. That they didn't take the mailbox with them. I had somebody take a mailbox.
Really?
Yes. We did the walkthrough, and the mailbox was gone, and the people had moved. I bought the buyers a new mailbox. I said, "Come on, pick out a new mailbox at Home Depot, and I'll buy it for you."
Okay. Then school us on closing. What's the closing like?
Okay, so the closing takes place at the title or escrow company or attorney's office. And that's when all the documents are signed. And then the funds are held in this escrow at the title company, and they disperse the funds. So they're kind of like the glue that holds the whole thing together is your escrow company.
Right.
So they take the deposit money, they coordinate with the homeowners association, they get the money from the mortgage company, they pay off the mortgage for the seller, they do it. They're the orchestrators.
Then after the closing, when did the buyer get the keys?
Oh, that's a good question, Sekou. Because even if all the closing papers are signed, sometimes we can't release the keys to the buyers. We release the keys to the buyers when the loan has funded. So we have to make sure that the mortgage company sends the money to escrow, and they can send the money to the seller. And we've had a glitch with that where the mortgage company, for some reason, they didn't get a piece of paper. They needed more information, and we do not have the funds, and the buyers can't get the keys. So it's important that all of these things work out.
Right. Thank you, Marcia. If you're just joining us, this is Sekou Radio. Today, our guest is Marcia Frost on real estate in Southwest Florida. That was the completion of our first part, Marcia. You did a great job. So we're going to go into a second part very soon concerning selling a house. Thank you, Marcia.
Thank you, Sekou.